Chris from Fender Katsalidis, looking at Melbourne Quarter R1 tower. It's for land lease. Just to place it in context, the Yarra River's in grey going through there. We've got Warringah Way spinning through here and Flinders Street running up through there. Obviously Spencer Street up here. The red, so the start and end of the project is the Batman's wall, Batman's hill wall, where they basically, at some point they decided to take Flinders Street through and they cut the wall, they placed the wall that became known as the Wailing Wall. But that was something we had to interrogate as we went through. Just some other photographs. Coming over the Grimes Bridge here, there's Shed 5, there's the tower in the background, and this one here on the right hand side is Warringah Way curving around. So I suppose in terms of the principles of the project, it really was about this, the heritage wall, and about celebrating it. And when I say celebrating, we'll come back to that, but the primary, I suppose the next big move was joining Collins Street to the north up there with Flinders Street down here. And the sort of secondary ones are about how do we get through the wall for both vehicular and pedestrian. So the pedestrians are kind of up here and there's vehicular and pedestrians there. So the north-south lane became a way of interrogating, well, let's just stop. So we had to excavate everything away from behind the wall. That was quite a process, but what that meant was that we would build the hill as parking, and then we had to sort of negotiate or slow people down as they're coming down north-south lane. Once I got there, there was this idea that maybe the forecourt or behind the wall before you get to the building would connect with Spencer Street. So they were the sort of first sort of moves. Then there is this idea of arrival. It's for land lease. They wanted this hotel experience. You get dropped off in this beautiful finishing seat, sort of come in and come out through the wall. And then again, there's the car parking block. It's 275 cars for 1,500 apartments. It's not 1,500 in R1, it's only 719. But there's, this side here, there is R2, and there's another planned one which is probably not going to go ahead. But on top of the car park, we replaced it with the park. So we basically, the idea that whatever we took away, we'd replace it. So giving something back to the city. It's called Tea Tree Park. It was for one point called Batman's Park, but I don't know if you've ever done much research into Batman. It used to be Bateman, where you arrived here in Victoria, he was Batman. So something happens there, and if you go back, and it's not it's not the black armband history, but I think there is going to be a lot of things removed from, and he's one of them. In terms of locating the towers, it was about giving solar access to that park, and also about what I didn't explain was that there's the sort of major arc of the railway between Flinders Street to Spencer Street. That sort of curves through here. And again, talking about the wall, getting through it was kind of one of those things which we struggled with. I suppose we interrogated. And these are quite late in the piece. We were able to get surveys, but throughout it we kind of knew we didn't know how far it was going to go backwards. It was, when we did uncover it, it looks like a lot of the complex just threw the blocks in there. There was clearly not much going on there. But so our work was about how do we get through it. We didn't want people to sort of, I suppose, misinterpret that what we did was part of the original work. So you can sort of see here it was always off-centre, it didn't align with the piers. This is looking down north-south lane, going up the stairs and connecting in. There will be another tower this side of the lift, and that sort of connects up to all the other work that Land Lease had done with the commercial projects. So behind the wall, there's this idea of connecting Spencer Street with Warringah Way on the other side, and it really was the idea that this is an early sketch, but it was about providing, there is no curbs. It really was about slowing people down through, I suppose, just visual cues, putting, what would it be? I suppose there are a lot of these devices here, these planters, and really to slow people down as well. From an urban design point of view, the building, we lifted it up, so it gave a bit of breathing space to the wall, and on top of that the tower shoots up. The height of it's really determined by the shadows on the Yarra. So this started in 2011. I don't know if anyone's worked with landmates before. They are very slow moving beasts. They are And even the next one hasn't started, but that's, I think that's okay. What they do is they refine things over and over. Once we got through the wall, going up to the park, working with Oculus, it really was about how do we create rooms within rooms. So off the main spine here, there are these little rooms. There was also a component, which I'll talk about later, people with high physical disabilities. So all these spaces are quite smooth, and it is a gift back to the city. So it's not owned by, I don't think it's maintained by the City of Melbourne. And so the park also started to come up and green the building. And by that, just trying to get to my notes. Yeah, the idea, we encouraged the green to come up. So there's like an arbour running through here and also up through the building. It seems like an easy move, right? But I can tell you it wasn't, because at some point I made the stupid comment. I said, isn't this just a massive chimney? Like if it was ever a hot day, wouldn't it just turn into a chimney? And there was just silence around until I knew I hadn't been working on the project the whole time. There was silence. I knew that was a mistake. It took over a year to get through that one. So, and when you do go there, or if you do go there, you'll notice there's these sort of breaks all the way up. It's the first time it's been done in Australia, because it was very hard to do, to have a green element go all the way up the building. I know there are other ones in Sydney or whatever, they're typically horizontal, they don't link vertically. So the whole, what we happened in Melbourne with flammable cladding, well then flammable green was the next one. So from the, it doesn't show, it doesn't. It's sort of, that's the green element running up there. It's not a lot, but they sort of go backwards and forwards, and there's a climbing medium, so they sort of jump up, and they always move from left to right. Sustainability, that's something I'm really interested in. It's a 5-star Green Star Communities Award. I think we were targeting 5-star Green Star just for the building alone. Because it's land lease, they do a lot of stuff themselves. They've got their own factory for pod bathrooms, so the whole building's designed to sort of land these toilets on site and just roll them through. They roll through structures. So it's from the start, there's always this idea that we'd use those sort of things. And then sort of bottom right, there already are spatial design standards. This is 2011, right? So they already had the idea of that. This is pre-BADS. They are smaller than BADS, I'm going to say, but they had their own standards, and we were working towards those. But as you can see, it looks like any other. It's very simple, very allowing for value add for other things. The only other thing I want to talk about for social sustainability is summer housing. Summer housing is, I don't know if you know about the MYOB guy. When he sold his company, he created this another company called Summer Housing, and they put people who are typically put into aged care, he puts them into the city and into where there are jobs. It is a really wonderful thing. So there's only 10 of them, but they're designed for people with high physical needs. There's one carer on the site. And did go in after we got to town planning, so it was a hard thing to sort of push it around it. And the whole idea was to make them no different to any other apartment. So if we see here, this is the building from afar. Then if I was to go here, summer housing here in the corner, but the other apartments are very similar. We're not, even the doors, they have an app to get them through the front door. So like it's all voice activated, all that sort of stuff. So, and I think, so the last sort of slide I saw before that was about the convene level. So imagine 1,700 people all having to use this much. They are actually reconsidering that now. But so there's facilities here, and this is wellness on the level above, the convene level. Convene level is at the park level. It's all about connecting with the park and the railways through here. So and I think that's it.